everybody, it's Michelle from Mishelly Crafts, and I am going to be doing a tutorial today on how to make a tie-dye tumbler like this one using acrylic paints and a paintbrush. Okay, so what you need for your tie-dye tumbler is going to be, well, a tumbler. I'm using a 20 ounce skinny that I got from Hog, stainless steel, of course, and I spray painted the one that I'm going to use white, just a matte white, and I'm going to be using the neon paints in this paint set. It's like a 24 pack, but this comes with a set of neons right there on top. Got this at Michael's. The rest of them are metallic, which would probably make a pretty cool one as well, but for today's tumbler we're going to use neon so that it turns out looking like this one did. So we have the paints, of course, just something to put the paints on, and then the paintbrush that I used is just a small craft type paintbrush. I don't think it probably costs more than maybe $2 for a set, or $3.99 or something at Michael's as well. Came with a few different brushes, but I'm going to use the small brush so that I can get the smaller brush strokes in the tie-dye design. Kind of makes it look a little bit more textured. And then a paper plate, put the paint on. Something just as easy as that. So the first time that I did this tumbler, and this is my first one that I have done, I used a pencil to draw the lines. And I don't know if you can see, but even after 2 coats of paint there, you can still kind of see the paint lines. Now this is for my daughter, so she's gonna love it no matter what. But if I was going to do this for a customer, those pencil lines would have driven me crazy, and I wouldn't have been giving it to my customer. So what I decided to use on this one, since I started with yellow, I'm going to use a yellow highlighter. And that way, when I paint the yellow on it, it should disappear. Now, don't know for sure, but I guess we'll find out, won't we? So to get the tie-dye design on my cup, which is the swirls, like this one here, you would draw just kind of a big swirl on there. Now I couldn't find any tutorial on tumblers and how to do it, so I looked for how to draw tie-dye, and what I came up with is a YouTube video of a young lady who was doing it on a notebook cover, and I watched the first few minutes and it really helped me kind of get an idea of how to do the design and little tiny brush strokes and things like that. So thank you to her for that video, and it turned out pretty amazing if you ask me. So let's see if I can recreate a second time. So what you're going to do is you're going to just start wherever you want to start on the cup. If you want the swirl to be in the middle like I did on this one, you would just start in the middle here. I'm just going to start in the middle again, and you just kind of start doing a swirl, and you're going to eventually run off of your cup, and this doesn't have to be perfect by any means. You're going to eventually run off the cup with your swirl, and that's fine. Just kind of come back on where you think that it would, and then off again. And you don't want to skip the bottom here, so just kind of get an idea of course, you know, the bottom isn't really that important because you don't really see the bottom. So if you see that it kind of went into that, I don't know if you can even see those yellow lines on there. Oh yeah, there they go, a little bit. You can see it went off, but then it came back on and it met up with this side, and then it came back on over there. So I'm just getting a basic idea, and I'm done. I mean, you can see that it's a wobbly mess. In some spots, it kind of goes like this, but the beauty of tie-dye is that it's not universal. It's very free flowing, so you don't really have to worry about it being perfect. So just have the basic little swirl on there. Really don't know if you can, oh, there we go. Okay, kind of see, just starts in the middle there and swirls around to the outside edge, And we'll clean it up as we go if we can't, if it just doesn't work for us. So what we're starting with is yellow. Now I started with yellow because I decided that I was going to do colors that mix together and make another color. So when I start with yellow, then I can do a blue, and where the yellow and the blue meet, it will mix together and make green. And then I can go back in with my green later and kind of fill it in. So what I do is just start like this and start with little brush strokes out from the center. Now I kind of like the look of the chunkier paint where it kind of blobs a little bit because I think it gives it a fun texture. And so I leave it. And like I said before, tie-dye is not something that has to be perfect. So you just basically, and that yellow line is blending in, which is I was hoping for. Alright, now once I have the yellow done, I'm going to go in and work with blue so that where those two meet, it'll mix together and do a nice little green hue. And that's why sometimes I like the more chunky application. If you can see, it's kind of thick in some spots because I can grab that when I go in with my blue. I'm not going to even wash off my brush or anything. When I go in with my blue, I'll be able to pull some of that yellow and it'll create a nice green as well, so that I can go back in later and fill in with green. You just have to be careful not to create all of it green because then your blue goes away. But I'm just going right up to the yellow. And one of the good things about this as well is that if I feel like I covered up too much of one color, once it's dry, you just go back in and add some more. Happy little accidents. Channel your inner Bob Ross. Now I have the blue in there, and from here I'm actually going to do pink, and then when the blue and the pink mix together, they will make purple, as I'm sure you crafty people out there in the world know. So I'm kind of tapping off my brush a little bit, not taking it out completely because what's the point if we're just going to mix them together anyway. And as you can see, I'm kind of filling in white space because I want to come back in with the purple and the green. But when I do, the purple is going to go in between the blue and the pink, and the green is going to go in between the blue and the yellow. So this white space that I have won't really be filled in. Okay, so I noticed this little spot right here. I think I wanted that to be yellow. So I'm gonna try and fill in with some yellow. We'll see. If I don't like it, I'll cover it up. It works. Maybe I'll cover it up with some purple. Okay, so, oh, yuck. Okay, so here's the beginning. And now I'm gonna go back in with some green. And I'm gonna hit those spots in between the yellow and the blue. I probably should wipe off my brush, but yeah, we'll just wing it. So in between the blue and the yellow, I'm just gonna add some of that green. It's already kind of green in some spots, but adding that green in there just kind of gives it some more depth. A little more pop of color. Make sure I have green in all the spots that I should. Okay, and then you move on to purple. Now with my first cup, I went through and did a second coat of some of the colors to try to cover up those pencil lines, but really just to try to make it a little bit brighter as well. So in any of these spots where you're seeing like too much green or the yellow goes completely away, I can go in there after it's dry. I can go in there and then add some more yellow to it if I want to. Okay. So the purple is going to go in between the blue and the pink. And sometimes it looks like it mixes together. It might be beneficial to, oh, where'd it go? To let it dry between coats. That way you're not really mixing the colors together too much. Especially after you've already done the ones where they mix. And this is just adding the purple and the green. You might want to wait until it dries. Another good thing too is if you're putting a label on there, or a name or a logo or some kind of decal, you can cover up those places that you're not really happy with and then they go away. Okay, so there's first coat. See if I can get it to darken up for you there a little bit. Okay, so there's first coat. I will let this dry, and then I will go back in and finish it up, touch it up a little bit, and fill in some spaces that I see that are still white. But that's just the basic idea of how to do it. Just in a nice swirl pattern and small little brush strokes and work around. And you got this. It's not as hard as it looks, I've found. So it'll come out to be a nice shiny tumbler for you. You can slap a name on there. Make somebody very happy, or you make yourself very happy. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.